Rain splattered against the glass walls of the airport that evening, a gray sky stretching endlessly over the city. The world outside was chaos: delayed flights, honking taxis, rushing passengers. Inside, everything buzzed with movement, voices, and the sharp echo of luggage wheels over tile floors. Liam Parker stood near gate 23, clutching a small hand in his own. His daughter, Emily, was 6 years old, with the kind of smile that made strangers soften. But right now, her smile was fading fast. "Daddy, are we going to Miss Grandma's house?" she asked, her tiny voice trembling. He crouched down and brushed a tear from her cheek. "Not if we hurry, sweetheart. We just need to check in." He tried to sound calm, but inside, he was exhausted, not just from the long day, but from years of holding things together. A single father, barely managing 2 part-time jobs, juggling bills, and raising a daughter who deserved the world. He used to have everything: a stable job, a home, a future. Until one company destroyed it all. Until one decision from one powerful woman took everything away. But that was years ago. He'd learned to bury the past. Or so he thought. As they reached the counter, a sudden commotion drew everyone's attention. A woman stumbled near the escalator, her suitcase tipping over, papers scattering across the floor. Liam instinctively turned, and before he even thought about it, he was running. "Hey! Are you all right?" The woman was struggling to breathe, clutching her chest. Liam dropped his bag, kneeling beside her, checking her pulse. "Someone call medical," he shouted. Her face was pale, her breathing shallow. Without thinking, Liam unbuttoned his jacket and placed it under her head. He guided her through steady breaths, his calm voice cutting through the panic. "You're going to be fine. Just breathe with me, all right?" Minutes later, paramedics rushed in and took over. As they lifted her onto the stretcher, her eyes flickered open, dark, sharp, and familiar. For a moment, their gazes met. And his heart froze. He knew that face. Those eyes. It couldn't be. The woman he'd just saved was Elena Rhodes. The billionaire CEO of Rhodes International, the company that had fired him unjustly, the company that had bankrupted him, cost him his home, and forced him into years of struggle. He stood there speechless, his daughter tugging at his sleeve. "Daddy? Who was that lady?" He swallowed hard. Just someone who needed help. But inside, his world had shifted. The next morning, news outlets were flooded with headlines: "Billionaire CEO collapses at airport saved by unknown man." Liam shook his head, trying to ignore it. He didn't want fame. He wanted peace. But fate had other plans. 2 days later, he received a call from an unknown number. "Mr. Parker," the voice said, calm and professional. "Ms. Rhodes would like to meet you." He froze. "Tell her I'm not interested." "She insists, sir." "It's about your daughter." His heart skipped. "What do you mean?" "Just come. Please." He hesitated, then agreed. When he arrived at the glass skyscraper downtown, he felt out of place. The lobby was sleek, silent, and too polished for a man in worn shoes and a second-hand jacket. He was led to a large office overlooking the city, and there she was, standing by the window. "Elena," he said flatly. She turned, her face pale but composed. "Liam." He crossed his arms. "If you called me here to say thank you, don't bother. I didn't know it was you." She winced. "I know. And that's exactly why I called. You saved my life, even after what I did to yours. He didn't respond. His jaw tightened. She stepped closer, her voice trembling. I didn't know the truth back then. The report that got you fired, it wasn't your fault. Someone in my team framed you to cover their own mistake. I didn't find out until years later. And by then, my daughter and I were living out of a car, he said quietly. Tears filled her eyes. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix what you broke. She nodded. I know. But maybe I can try. He turned to leave, but she said something that stopped him cold. Your daughter's school called me. She's been shortlisted for the Rhodes Foundation scholarship. It's full tuition, medical care, everything. I wanted you to hear it from me first. He turned slowly. You want to pay for her future? No, she said softly. I want to make up for what I took. He stared at her, torn between pride and desperation. He wanted to walk out, to hold on to his anger. But when he thought about Emily's bright eyes, her dreams of becoming an artist, his anger crumbled into something else, exhaustion. Fine, he said finally. But not because of you. Because of her. Days turned into weeks. Elena kept her distance, but she visited often to check on Emily's progress, to help at school events, to quietly repay a debt she could never fully settle. And over time, something unexpected happened. Emily adored her. She called her Miss Ellie, and would chatter endlessly about her drawings and dreams. Elena, who had spent her whole life surrounded by power and silence, found herself laughing again, truly laughing for the first time in years. One evening, after a school recital, Liam found Elena sitting alone in the empty auditorium, watching the stage. She's incredible, Elena whispered. She has your heart. He nodded. And her courage. A long silence stretched between them. Finally, she said, I think about that day all the time, the day I signed the paper that ruined you. I thought I was doing my job. I didn't realize I was destroying a life. He sighed, sitting beside her. We all make mistakes. The difference is what we do after. She looked at him, eyes glistening. And what would you do, if someone asked for forgiveness? He hesitated, then said quietly, I'd ask them what they're willing to do to earn it. She smiled sadly. Everything. Over the next few months, their lives intertwined again, slowly, painfully, beautifully. Elena started volunteering at the local shelter where Liam helped on weekends. She'd roll up her sleeves, serve food, sit with strangers, and talk to people who had nothing left. He saw her not as the CEO who had ruined him, but as a woman trying to rebuild her soul. And one evening, as they locked up the cafe they'd started together, her idea, his dream, he turned to her and said, You know what's funny? The woman who destroyed my life gave it back to me. She smiled softly. Maybe that's how life works. It breaks you, then brings you the person who helps you heal. Years later, the cafe became a landmark. People came not just for the coffee, but for the story of a man who forgave, a woman who changed, and a little girl who brought them together. And whenever someone asked Liam how it all began, he'd smile, wipe down the counter, and say, It started at an airport. With a fall, a whisper, and a second chance. Because sometimes, the person who ruins your life, is the one who's meant to help you rebuild it.